your CIGTV News Update. I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news from the Ministry of Culture. Ministry staff, the National Trust, and others who are interested in preserving our heritage have worked to save a traditional Caymanian-style cottage from the early 1800s from being destroyed. Now, the old home will be relocated to the Mission House in Bordentown now that the procurement process has wrapped up. The ministry learned that the former home of Clayton Nixon is on the National Trust's Registry of Historic Buildings and was in danger of being demolished. Minister of Culture, the Honorable Dwayne Seymour, says the structure is one of the few remaining examples of an early home and, according to records, was possibly one of the first homes owned by a former slave. It is also a fine example of traditional Caymanian construction techniques with walls that include wattle and daub as well as limestone. We quickly decided that we had to have this fine aspect of our built heritage, save it from demolition. Meantime, the Mosquito Research and Control Unit recently welcomed new staff to its team. Director James McNally has the details.
We did. We were in a good position to hire some local Caymanians. We had two fellows who have been here for a long period of time move up into elevated supervisory positions. So we advertised and had a lot, dozens of people from here on island, most of which were Caymanians. So again, we were in a real great position to give some folks a job here. We hired 3 new disease protection officers. These are the folks that go out into the swamps, they go out and inspect people's yards, all to survey for mosquitoes. That in turn justifies what we do with our control measures. They're going to give us the ability to look for mosquito populations and ultimately control them. 2 of those disease prevention officers are here on Grand Cayman. And then one was sent to, well, not sent to, he already lived on Little Cayman, but that'll be our first full-time DPO on Little Cayman, and that's going to help immeasurably on that island. It's great to be in a position to give these folks an opportunity to learn what we do, hopefully grow within Cayman Islands government and become an asset to the island eventually.
And their first 2 weeks as DPOSs consisted of an intensive training program designed to get them up to speed on all surveillance and control related aspects of their new role. Mosquito surveillance will also form the largest part of their daily duties. Training included techniques for checking the aquatic stages of mosquito development, taking, maintaining, and recording field samples, and performing residential swamp and pasture inspections. Also making our headlines from the MRCU, the department is enhancing its mosquito management program over on Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. The recently announced changes will bring the islands in line with operations here on Grand Cayman and with scientific best practice. Minister Dwayne Seymour explains that the MRCU has taken its steps to ensure the highest standards of mosquito management is met in communities across all 3 of our islands. The unit's plan for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman includes moving away from acting on ad hoc spray requests from the public towards a sustained approach of surveillance-based control, which has been proven to be the most effective at tackling mosquito populations. MRCU hopes the public is experiencing a less mosquito discomfort and continues to invite requests for service. You can give them a call at 949-2557, or you can get in touch with them through the website, which is mrcu.ky. Finally, for a look at our weekly schedule of shows here on CIG Television, you can go online to gis.gov.ky and click on the publications icon. If you missed today's news update, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page or the CIG Television YouTube channel. I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining us, wishing you a wonderful and, of course, a very safe night. And I invite you back here again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land. stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman's boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!
I'm Jody Ann Powery. I'm the Police Media Officer with the RCIPS, and I'm here to give you some crime prevention tips on how to best protect your property. The first thing that we want to discuss is our points of entries. Let's start with the front door, and then we'll move on to the windows and the back doors or sliding glass doors. The first thing to consider is the front door. This particular front door has 2 deadbolt locks. One of these deadbolt locks are properly carpentered and the other is not. When your door is properly locked, you'll hear a click at the end and the deadbolts are not able to move. If it is slightly opened, then you can push the deadbolt back without having any restrictions. I'll now proceed to show you what your lock should look like when it is properly locked. When it comes to your windows, you want to make sure that your window is locked all the way down, because even though the lock is on, if it's not all the way down, it can still be pried. The proper way to lock the window is to make sure that the window goes all the way down to the seal and then you pull across the lock. When you have a sliding glass door at home, you want to make sure that you have secondary locking devices in addition to the lock that comes with the door. One of those can be a simple piece of wood that's jamming the doorway. We want to encourage you to ensure that you don't make things easy for burglars who are looking for opportunities to break into property by leaving your property out in plain view. Some of these items are your car keys, your electronics, and your handbags. Make sure that you put these properties away when you're leaving the house or when you're going to bed. When you're going camping or if you're taking your family on a trip, you want to ensure that your property has some sign of life. This can be done by leaving a light on or putting timers on your lights. And we want to ensure that our family homes are safe. In order to do so, we encourage that people take the proper precautions by starting up neighborhood watches or encouraging family members or persons they trust to check on their properties while they're away.